So with that, let's start our February 12th sales training, Primal Selling, Be a Game Changer. Here's what we're going to be covering in the next several minutes. Number one, how and why to change the language of the sale. Number two, the benefits of being a game changer. Number three, the need to be a game changer. Number four, and you're going to see this throughout the presentation because we really want to stress this, is that we are your partner here at FutureOffice Network. And FON is here to help with whatever you need to help you make more business, close more sales, turn on more clients, whatever it is. We want to know about it because we want to help and respond to that. And then the last point is really kind of the challenge, and that is what will you do based upon this sales training to become a better game changer in your own career and also in being a very positive force in spreading the game changer message to your agency. Number one, how and why to change the language of the sale. Periodically, we as sellers of insurance have to change what we're talking about because nothing ever stays the same. Imagine somebody who was stuck in a sales presentation from the 60s or the 70s. Would that really go over well today? Of course not. No chance. That person would be out of business. We are at another one of those cusps, those points in time where the industry is once again changing. And so we as producers need to change the language of our sale. What does that mean? Well, your customer, let's kind of talk about demographics for a little bit. I know some of the clients that are listening to this sell in states where you really can't sell insured business. You can only sell self-funded business. So those tend to be larger clients. But even if it's a smaller client, the second bullet point here on the screen is going to hold true. Here are the numbers to support the truth of that particular statement. 95% of Americans work for a company of less than 200 employees. Most of that under 100. The single largest chunk of Americans works for a company, you ready for this, between 2 and 30 employees. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's accurate and it's up-to-date data. 2 to 30 employees. So whether you're a large one of the big three global brokers, or you're a one-man band, or you're a small, medium-sized, whatever the size of your firm is, everybody's going to have a book of business that's going to have a lot of smaller accounts in there. Now there's good things and bad about that. Number one is there some of them can be kind of high maintenance and service intensive, and that eats into your profit margin. The positive side though is that you have FON to help you with that. Another positive thing is that when you can pop a lot of those accounts, those smaller groups, you know, you're going to have a very big book of business. And you lose one account, you know, it's not the end of the world. I've worked for an agency where we had, I think the largest account that we had was 80,000 employees at the time. It was the very first account that I ever worked on, actually, 80,000. The commission on that was big 6 figures. You lose that one, and eventually they did. It's like people jumping out of windows. Not literally, but that's about how it felt. It's tremendously hard on the mind. Now, back down to that smaller group, I personally worked for one of the 3 global brokers. I won't mention which one, but I was in charge of e-commerce for all of North America. And we had 38 offices that were sort of under my purview. One of the things that was really obvious is that about 50% of our book of business was under 50 lives. Well, again, that just kind of reinforces the point. Now, we got rid of that business, a bunch of it, because we said we're going to play in the higher tiers. Well, that's fine. You can shoot all the elephants you want. But to me, I'd rather satisfy having a lot of fun, selling a lot of business, and that means you're going to have to sell smaller groups. Now hear me clear on this one here. You probably already know this, but if you just ask and kind of ask questions around this particular one here, HR and benefits have become one. The insurance industry, HR and benefits are separate, and the carriers are telling you that it's still sell the benefits, here's the insurance. They have not changed. The customer has changed a few years ago. So we now have a split. Once again, we have a big split that the insurance industry has not caught up with where the customer is. Well, that's where the broker comes into play. That's where you come into play. So understanding that when you're talking to a small employer who doesn't have an HR person, is never going to have an HR person as long as they're small, and a lot of them want to stay small, particularly now with healthcare reform. There's an added reason to not be too big. They see HR and benefits as one. What is more complicated? Given all the stuff under Obamacare and all the other stuff that we know we have to know in benefits, HR is probably 5 times more complicated. That is the tougher part of what your client has to face. And remember, when you walk in the door, when the attorney walks in the door, when the accountant walks in the door, your prospect, your customer thinks HR and benefits are one. You must, hear me on this, you must morph your strategy to mirror what that client thinks. HR and benefits, they're all one. They talk about them interchangeably. And so that is part of changing the language of the sale. You have to talk more about HR. Now, I know some of you maybe are, that sounds like, oh, I don't want to do that. It's too complicated. I don't have I feel a lot of liability. All of that kind of stuff is all real. But you have FutureOffice Network as your HR background. We have been staffing up in anticipation of this need. And I'm going to cover that in a slide here in just a second. But keep in mind that you can talk about HR and benefits as one thing. Now, you're an insurance professional with experience, with expertise in HR. That's your new title. You can spritz it up a little bit, but that's who you are. If you're going to move away from the insurance industry and get on the client side, the employer side, before the industry gets there, which is always the place to be, you have to position yourself as a game changer. And the game changer is you are still an insurance professional. They still need help on all that stuff. And Obamacare is not going to change that. It's going to increase the need for insurance professionals. Now, where you apply that ability that you have, that may change, but it's just going to move is all it's going to be. But there's a new thing that's been added to that, and surprise, it's HR. A couple of facts here. Back in 2010, the Department of Labor did two things. They did two audits, national audits. They did a national audit on companies. Everybody that works for a company in the United States today, every employee that's been hired since 1986 must have a valid I-9, Immigration 9 form. 80% of companies in that DOL audit, well, actually that was an ICE audit, I beg your pardon, but in that government audit, 80% failed. The fines are ridiculous. Is that something you should go in and talk to your employer about? Yes. Is that something you should call FutureOffice Network about and say, what are some resources that you can point me to in FON that would give me, I can sound intelligent in front of a customer talking about that? Yes. Do we have the actual questions? Do we have the actual audits? Yes. We have everything you need to do there, and we'll help you on that. Now, that's going to get their attention because they're thinking, oh, yeah, they're all filled out, but there are little tricks that ICE knows to look for in how they're filled out. Are they filled out all with one single pen? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Is that all you have is one pen? And so you've hired a bunch of people over a long period of time and you've always used one pen? I don't think so. It sounds like you fill them all out at one time. Gotcha. That is how the government plays the game. Let's talk about salaried versus hourly paid employees, a law from 1938. Another big one. Now, this was done by the Department of Labor a couple of years ago. And what they found was mass non-compliance with companies that didn't know the rules on who is salaried and who is hourly. Well, FutureOffice Network, we've got a whole team of HR people. We're ready to help you right now, and we've been here for a long time, and maybe the phones just aren't ringing enough, but that's what we want to do for you. We are your partner. The benefits of becoming a game changer. Number one, very, very important. Seth Godin, the Purple Cow, there's all kinds of things that are written about this. Differentiation. Now, I know everybody's talking about HR. We're pushing it. We've been talking this for years, and some of our competitors talk about it, but they really don't do it. They sort of play that trick where they make it something that looks like it available and hope that nobody ever takes them up on it. We want you to take your customers to take us and you up on it because we will deliver. You will deliver through us. So you're going to be a differentiated seller. Now you might be thinking, so many people are already out there doing the HR game. You know, I'm not going to be differentiated. The world in the United States is so big that the insurance industry just has not caught on. I keep coming back to that point. You have plenty of room to be differentiated because we deal with producers all over the country, and I get to talk with producers all the time. And one of the things I find out is that they're aware of the need to differentiate themselves with adding other knowledge pieces into the sales presentation, changing the language of the sell. But they, in fact, being aware of it and doing it are two very different things. They don't do it. The vast amount of producers are not doing it. They're still doing it the same old way. So this is a big opportunity. Number two, better attention from your prospects for your presentation. When you start talking about things that your customer never thinks that they would get from an insurance professional, a consultant, a producer, and you start talking about things that are really on their mind, these are much bigger and much heavier fine issues. Liability is tremendous. And there's hardly any employer out there that has not had a situation arise where they fire somebody or somebody quits and they're disgruntled. The legal side, the lawyer side of the fence are just waiting. They know exactly where the skeletons in the closet are. The I-9s I mentioned, classifying people salaried versus hourly improperly, and there's a list of other things. Well, we know those too, so we're an advocate for you and for your employer. That's a powerful story to tell your clients that, you know what, somebody goes out and they get an attorney, that attorney is automatically got up on you because they do this all day long. Wouldn't you want to have a partner in you, Mr. Producer, Ms. Producer, with FutureOffice Network, who's behind you, who will act as an advocate, and we know the other side. We know what their game is, and we will be able to help you, help your employer. That's going to cement your relationship. That's going to turn into more business, point number 3, because that message sells. Employers are hungry for somebody. Accountants are not going to fill the bill. The lawyers are too expensive. That leaves you. And customers are hungry for people that can help them with the other areas of their business. Now, the bigger the customer gets in terms of headcount, the less this becomes important because at some point they hire a professional HR manager. My experience today, about 80 to 100 employees. That's when you're going to start seeing HR people. Underneath that, and when you dip under 50, forget it. They don't have an HR manager. They can't afford it. Deeper customer relationships with FutureOffice Network. It's like catching a fish, a big fish, when you're fishing for panfish. You're not going to, you caught the big fish, but are you going to land it? No. You have to get as many hooks into that fish as possible, and then maybe you'll land it. It's no different with customers. The more hooks you can get into your client, and I don't mean that in a negative sense, I mean in a positive sense. There's more ways that you can feed them, help them, be a resource to them. And again, FutureOffice Network that's your back room, that's your tool. That is your game changer. You're the presenter, you're the one that makes the money. You're the tip of the spear, but we're the back room for you. Now the need to be a game changer. Well, we're dealing today with an upset apple cart. For many years, the apple cart was pretty much status quo. It's upset today, and we all know what upset the apple cart. It's Obamacare. It upset it. Customers don't understand it. They're not sure what they're going to do with their groups, if they're going to get out of the employer-based insurance. You read the same thing I do. But it's upset the apple cart. Some people are saying, wow, that paradigm shift means that voluntary benefits are going to be the name of the game. Well, that's true, I think. But it also is an opportunity to take a look and say, well, what other resources can I provide to my client and charge them for that? Now, there's an opportunity that many, based on my experience, many insurance agencies really are reluctant. They're very reminiscent to charge clients extra. But you know what? That day is coming. The day is coming when you can say, well, we don't get paid on this stuff anymore, or we get very little, and so we're going to do all this other kind of stuff for you, keep your employees happy, help them make decisions, help you with liability and all these other kind of things. Plus, we're going to be doing these other services for you. This is where the world is going. And the upset apple cart is going to make that go faster. I've already talked about customer demand. If you've never played this game, if you've never changed the language of the cell to include HR services, then you will have no idea of how strong the customer demand is right now on February 12, 2013, and it's only going to get bigger. The regulations that are coming out of Washington today are not just in insurance. They're in HR, they're in compensation, they're in employment law, they're in all of that stuff. And you know what? It's the old saying, you don't know what you don't know. That's your customer. That's the situation your customer's in. They don't know what they don't know. You do know, and we do know, and together we can really change that for your good and for your employer's good, and you're the one that gets paid. Being an early adopter. Again, we seem to have so many people that are talking this way, but when you figure how large the economy is in the United States, you're really in a position still, and for some time to come, why not start right away? Don't procrastinate. Be an early adopter of this game changer methodology that we're talking about. There are a lot of people out there that are doing this. I've used this story before. It's a true story, and I'm going to mention it again because we're also recording this particular presentation. One of our brokers has an agency, and he used to be with a company that begins with the letter Z, and really was paying through the nose, and anyway, he wasn't getting anything out of the thing. It just wasn't happening. He wasn't making any money for it. It was nice to flash up a bunch of stuff at retention time, at renewal, but not for new business. It wasn't doing anything. He came to us, and basically, I remember talking to him, and basically, I told him the story that I've just laid out for all of you right now. And what he did is, he was only with us for 3 months. Well, he's still with us, but he was only with us for 3 months when something happened that was just absolutely amazing. And if you care to call me separately, I'm not going to put it on the recording here, but I'd be happy to put you in contact with him. But what he did is he went out in the month of September of 2011. And if you look up that calendar, you'll find that there were 20 business days in that particular month of September 2011. 20 business days. The rest were weekends. And Labor Day. So he, in those 20 business days that he had to work, he produced, using this methodology, HR, benefits, one and the same. We're already there. You should be working with us because this is where the world's going. And the customers ate it up. And he produced, ready for this, in 20 business days, 3 months into working with us, 16 agent of record letters. And from a lot of brokers, they didn't know what him. Some of them had other competing technologies, but they didn't have it focused on the producer and working through the producer to help that employer. That is FON's. That's FON's secret weapon. So be an early adopter of this. Now, we're here to help. Here are some of the things that we have right now. This is just a quick sampling. I'm not here to sell you anything, but I wanted to let you know that we're not just talking about this. We have an HR hotline that you can take out a piece, you can mark this up and make some money on it, but it's $99 a month net to us. For that, they get your group gets access, unlimited access anytime to a team that will answer that phone, FutureOffice Network HR. And they're trained, they're good. A couple of people have master's degrees in HR. One of them is a professor of HR at the University of Wisconsin. That would be me. And we know pretty much everything that they're going to throw at us. We've been doing this as a service, and it just became so big that we had to start charging for it. We just had to hire a bunch of people and technology to support it. But you know what? $99 a month. That's not even $1,200 a year. What are you going to buy for $1,200 a year? And here you're getting premium, high quality, a team, a call center of people that are all ready. They got their computers. They know your account. They know where that number comes from, and they associate it with you, the producer, and they know it's your account, and they talk about you. And they answer their questions, and they do it right. We carry the E&O liability insurance in case we screw up, and we've never screwed up. And I don't think that's ever going to happen, frankly, because we know what we're doing. HR Smartcasts, these are golden. If you're not sending out the monthly Smartcasts, the invites to your customers, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Because here's what you should do. You send out the Smartcast, you send it to your clients, and you tell your clients, I tell you what, these are free. This is a service of my XYZ agency. Why don't you send them off to a couple of friends of yours that you think might want to listen to this particular topic? It's not going to cost them anything. They can be at the coffee shop, home, office, whatever. Send them to a couple people at different companies. Now, when those people at the different companies log on, we capture so much data on the back end that we then can feed those back to you because we will know by zip code who their broker is currently. We'll have their email, their phone number, the name of their company. I mean, everything you'd possibly want for a lead. And we'll also have an evaluation on how they felt about the speaker on the Smartcast. Did they like it? Are they ecstatic about it, which many of them are? Or, were they really, sour grapes that day and just hate the world? You get that once in a while too, but not too often. These things usually are over the top. And so we feed those back to you, and now you got some qualified leads of people that like something that they're not getting from their current broker. It can't get any better than that, to take you out and talk to that client, talk to that prospect. HR services and audits. FON is full of them, There's so many things. And so anybody that's on this call, I encourage you, call me personally. Call me personally. My number is 262-432-0707. My email address, craigd@davidsonmarketing.com. And I'd be delighted to show you how this can come alive and make a lot more money for you. So I have a big question for you. What are you going to do in response to this sales training that we've just spent the last 29 minutes on? What are you going to do? Is it just going to be, sounds good, I got to go back and do what my sales manager wants me to do? Or are you going to change your game plan and start really making more money, shorter sales cycles, higher closing ratios, all that good stuff That's what this sales training is all about, and that's what you can do. So I want to thank you, all of you that have participated on this particular sales training. And if you do want to contact me, if you have any questions, please do so. Here's the number one more time, 262-432-0707. You can contact me at support@yourfutureoffice.com, or you can my direct email, craigd@davidsonmarketing.com. Thank you very much. Happy selling, guys. Have a good day.